Roque Ablan Sr. remind us of our other veterans of World War II. And Governor Kiyon talked about my travels. May sa dagiti resulta, dagiti biyahe tayo. Dahil dadu mga kabsat tayo is to be able to have justice for our veterans who for so long did not have justice. I am talking about our recent victory, the recent recognition of our World War II veterans who were recognized after 60 long years by the U.S. Congress in their stimulus package law. I was looking for an opportunity to be able to read to the people what Senator Inoue said in the U.S. Congress, in the U.S. Senate, when he sponsored the recent bill on veterans' benefits in the United States. And let me quote what he said. On January 26, 1941, the President of the U.S., of the United States, Mr. Roosevelt, issued a military order through General MacArthur calling upon Filipinos to volunteer to serve in the Army, to serve in the Navy, to serve in the Air Force, because the President sensed correctly that there was much instability and much violence in Asia. He felt the time had come for the U.S. to be prepared for any eventuality. As a result of that call, 470,000 Filipinos stepped forward and volunteered to serve in the military under the command of General MacArthur. As we all know, on December 7, 1941, Pearl Harbor was bombed. And then, the forces of Japan began advancing to the Philippines. The first major target was the Bataan Peninsula. The 14th Japanese Army surrounded the peninsula. That peninsula contained at that moment 80,000 troops. But everyone assumed, and even Hollywood movies of Audie Murphy assumed, that the 80,000 were American troops. No. As Senator Inoue pointed out, there are only 18,000 American troops. The rest were Filipinos. The majority of the troops in Bataan were Filipinos. The majority of those fighters in Ilocos were Filipinos. But somehow, if you look at Hollywood, on the Bataan Death March, and other stories of the war, you will hardly see a Filipino marching. Then, Senator Inoue continues, of the survivors of Bataan, 15,000 were Americans, 60,000 were Filipinos. The march took more than 1 month. They were not given medicine or water. So by the time it ended, 54,000 survived. That was why it was called a death march. Very few Filipinos survived. Then we had Corregidor, the same thing. And I might add, Ilocos, the same thing. So in March of 1942, the Congress of the U.S., the Senate and the House, passed a measure thanking the Filipinos for their gallantry, for their heroism, and even said, if you wish, you may become a citizen of the U.S. and get all the benefits of a U.S. veteran. But when the war ended, in February of 1946, the U.S. Congress passed a bill rescinding, repealing the acts of 1942. The U.S. said the service that the Filipinos had rendered was not active duty. And that was the great injustice of 1946 that we have fought all these years to correct. We Filipinos waited all this time. Ablan and the other heroes of World War II waited for all this time. And as Senator Inoue said, we have had measure after measure presented. They did so in the proper fashion, but they got filibustered, they got ruled out, and everything else. But finally, last February, the U.S. Congress recognized them. We are sorry that Roque Ablan Sr. is not here to collect his veterans' benefits anymore. But the important thing is the recognition. And so today, on this special Ablan Day of 2009, as we pay tribute to Roque Ablan Sr., we pay tribute not only to the great things he did para ti probinsya ti Ilocos Norte, but more than that, it is an occasion to pay tribute to all his 470,000 fellow Filipinos, fellow World War II heroes, the Filipinos of all our regions in our country. Itata awanan tigera. Itata tigera ket kontra ti problema ti poverty. And kontra ti problema itata ti global economic recession. Importante nga ti entero nga pagilian Pilipinas agmamaysa tayo tano matuloy nga haan ta maabak dagiti problema ti world economic crisis. So I congratulate all your leaders here, Roquito, Michael, all the mayors, vice governor, board members, all our congressmen from what they call the 71 provinces. That's a tribute to Chavit. Thank you for doing everything that you are doing para ti amyanan ken akas may nga apometi amyanan katitati mamangko ket nagapo ti Binalonan Pangasinan agyamanak ti tulong yo para ti progreso ti amyanan ken ti entero nga pagilian Pilipinas. Diyos agino kada kayo amen ken happy Ablan Day. Thank you.